Good morning, everybody. My name is Donis Abdullah. I am a senior Belk Scholar and Crown Scholar at UNC Charlotte and the co-founder of Hot Route Analytics. 3 years ago in high school, my co-founder and I knew two things to be true. First was that sports and data really is going to become a big thing. And second is that if this is true, that data is going to be really hard to get. Fast forward a few years after signing contracts with different teams and colleges, doing customer discovery, and then also some market research, we found out that this is absolutely true. And the real reason behind this is because of the money. Data is expensive to get. And so these large universities like Alabama, Auburn, LSU, they can afford to get this. But the small schools my co founder and I go to, we just can't afford it. Ultimately, what this means is that teams just aren't as competitive and they perform worse in games, and coaches spend more time doing mundane chores. They're less competitive in recruiting. Fewer players can develop to maximize their potential, and ultimately, just less revenue. And teams are just ultimately less competitive. One AD we worked with said that we don't have the money to be like Chapel Hill or Michigan to afford new technology, even if we wanted to. Obviously, we're not the first sports tech company out there. There have been other ones out there who are really affordable, but they only offer a single service or is really specialized and doesn't take advantage of all the ways to use data. Or they do take advantage of all the ways, but it's at such a premium that only UCLA or Stanford can afford it. And so our solution to this is our platform. This is a suite of apps and technologies that use data analytics and predictive analytics to just help teams become competitive. We do this with our Next Pitch app, Next Play app, our online coaching portal, its mobile companion. We plan on building a recruitment app and also a player development and health app. Just to highlight two real quick, our Next Pitch app, that's our flagship mobile app that's designed to be used in game for both baseball and softball to predict the pitches that are going to be thrown in real time with up to 85% accuracy. And that was really cool because one of our teams back in the spring played the number 3 team in the nation and actually beat them in a weekend series with the app, which was cool. And then our coaching portal, it's our online dashboard that aggregates information both from within our platform, but also from outside of the platform. And just designed to be one location to give analytical insights and advice. And again, coaches who have used this just were able to save an hour or two every day, as the coaching portal was essentially able to build their game plan for them. Our market, we want to target these small D1 schools, D2, D3, and anything below that. And that's about $1.9 billion a year. And we even have a strong secondary market, we believe, in other places in sports where predictive analytics can be used, such as venue management, fan engagement, esports, ticket sales, sports betting, and just many other places where we can integrate data more. Our business model, it's a B2B business model with subscription-based B2B business model with monthly or seasonal subscriptions where different packages allow teams to access different technologies within our platform. Over the past year that we've been going at this, we have been fortunate enough to win the Venture Prize 2019 Idea Pitch. From there, we became members of the 49er Foundry. We had acquired our 7th customer before 2019 ended, completed 30 customer discovery interviews through the NSF I-Corp program, became Blue Diamond Award finalists, featured in Charlotte NO's 25 under 25, and also completed the 49er Foundry Accelerator program. And looking ahead, we want to add more people to our team. We want to add data scientists, writers, graphic designers, construct an advisory board. We are still in college right now with much more to learn, as well as we want to join accelerator programs, and also we can have 50 plus contracts signed by fall 21, which we do think we're on pace for. And ultimately, that's what our ask is all about. It's how do we get there? And we are asking for 65,000 with this going to sales to help us learn more, as I said, but also get us to those 50 customers, hardware and software, just so we can continue building out our platform, acquire IP, and also, like I said, build out the team. And currently our team, it's myself and Zach Alford, the two co-founders, baseball consultant, and Kyle Carter, who is a Houston Astros affiliate, does player development, and then 2 advisors, and Laura and Devin from Venture Prize. And so thank you all for listening. I welcome any questions. My contact info is in the top left.
All right. Thanks, Adonis. Another virtual Zoom applause here for you. And I think, Garth, it's your turn to, or no, it's Dr. Shantae's turn to get started.
I have like 11 billion questions, if that's a real number. So I guess I'll start with the basics. So what's the current spend on data analytics for sports teams? And then are they mostly using it for recruiting, or are they using it like game time video?
I'm sorry. So you said, I think you cut out for me a little bit, but it was how our team's currently using data analytics?
Or how are they currently, what are they spending on it?
Oh, how much are they spending on it? I'm not too sure. So I know there was the 1.9, and I know that gets cut down a lot from other things. If I had to take a guess from just teams we talked with, it's probably about 2,000 or so that they spend just on like technology per year, 3,000.
Okay. And so in your customer discovery process, what's the average that people or coaches or whomever that's really using the app willing to spend on something like this? Or how are you getting towards the right pricing and the right size pricing to gain those 50 customers?
Right. So far it's been the coaches that we have worked with and have used the app. When we have like gave them different prices, they seem to be the consensus around $100 or so is a fair price for a single app. And then for, if we expect to expand that out, then we can build that out to about 500 maybe for the whole platform, give or take. But from what they've mentioned, just other products such as the coaching portal could be a little more valuable than just the in-game baseball app and things like that. And so we've just playing around with it.
I'm sorry, is that per month or a one-time app fee?
It would be per season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say the financial mechanics of that are, I'd pay $500, I don't have a team. So you might want to kick that, think about the customer, what's valuable, where they're most likely to use, because I see all of the possibilities you've got there. And, what's your highest value offering, and, start working and developing there, because I think you might end up with a few issues, especially if you're targeting schools that already have a cash-strapped budget. There may be no budget for you to come into the market or for them to use you. So you may have some traction issues, at least early on. So proving out what's the best component or the best part of your platform. And then the other is a question. Are you compiling data and analyzing it, or are you kind of using an AI approach where things are being put in and you're saying, based on your team composition versus this team, this is what you should be doing?
It's a little bit of both of those. Some of them is we're scraping the web, trying to find these different stats about different players, and then we'll do different analytical things, the AI stuff, and it's like, okay, given these stats from this team and your stats, this is how they compare, and then this is how, the outcome and things like that. That's a mix.
Gotcha. So kind of I guess the movie was Moneyball? Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Kind of. And then I guess just one question, and I'm going to say this, and it's don't report me to the feds or anything, but I could definitely see gamblers or sports bettors really taking a shine to this in particular, where it's legal. Disclaimer for all the lawyers listening. But that's an interesting avenue, but I really don't know a lot about that market. I would say, I know you're talking about coaches and working with schools. Is there a different market that you could get, maybe not sports betting, but that would take some of these sports analytics? And then why not go after the big schools to prove out your model and give them better tools?
So I think if I'm hearing it right, it sounds like a two-parter. And first, just the other avenues we could go down, I would say would be like esports. I think could be a really interesting one, or if it was other people in the admin box, whether that's venue management or ticket sales, I think those could definitely benefit from that. And then, going after the larger schools, we definitely want to. we do have a D1 school already on board for a pretty big D1 school on board for this spring coming up. And we definitely would want to work with them, and we think it's cool, but we're just targeting the smaller ones right now because they're being left out by the current companies.
Gotcha. Well, based on the last pitch in the board game, people, maybe there's some AI and analytics to the board game world. I don't know. I'll let Garth speak before I ask any other questions.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a good presentation. I'm actually in the data world, so I certainly appreciate the potential and the it's all about the data. It's all about providing analytics. I have some sort of basic structural questions about what your business is. You mentioned screen scraping. Let's start with, how do you get this data, and what specifically is this data? It's data on local high school athletes, and well, I'll let you answer the question. I won't put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I think so. To just about like what the business is for a second.
With an eye towards why you're different, just
right.
You're scraping the web, okay.
Right. Yeah. So our business is really about, the focus right now is really just in game and the game management piece, and providing tools that can make teams better now, so to speak. So that's before the game, during the game, after the game. And the data we're getting now, and how we got it, a lot of it we had to get manually. It's scraping the web. It's getting, the past decade or so worth of information about different players at all division levels and things like that. And then from there, it's just trying to figure out some kind of analysis and starting to predict what's going to happen. So you're giving your team's performance last season, this is how they'll perform this season, or this is how you can change it, and things like that. And I think it's that predictive component that really does make us different. There are a lot of companies out there, sports companies, who will give them data, say, here's your players' offensive rating, defensive rating, their grading, blah, blah, blah. And that stuff is really important. We do that too. But
I guess I thought the crux was, you compile all this information about high school players, and then you give it, and then you provide it to the coaches for recruiting. I thought that but you say your focus is more in-game, so taking the data from the actual teams themselves and giving it back to them with some value-added, analytics and insights.
Yeah, that's definitely more on par for what we want to do. We do want to get into recruiting one day, and I think that's like our next step. But right now, it's definitely more with the teams at the moment.
Okay, well, this brings me to my second point. You had one slide where you're talking about, you said you have your flagship mobile app, and then you named about 4 others, and super, super boil the ocean type thing. Like, you're going to have to pick a lane, and it's my advice to anyone who's starting a company in anything. You need to figure out what it is you're good at and go after that with a single-minded focus, and you're way too sort of all over the place right now. And that leads into another point that I'll make. Your ask was $65,000.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned like 4 employees. Getting out to the market, it says nothing about data acquisition, et cetera. It's like, I just don't think that's the right scale for what I would suggest is not necessarily like, oh, we need $65 million, but scaling your focus way down, try to own. And Dr. Shante mentioned, I would think that you would want to start with getting a few relationships with, what you view as your core customer, giving them your data, giving them your insights, giving them everything. And then what they say, they're like, oh, this is useful. That's useful. Then that's your business. And one final point, I didn't see on your list of folks that are involved any data scientist, because you're going to have, it's not just about data, data as a thing, it's like, it's what you can do with it. what you're going to provide, the insights that you are going to provide that are going to make you different from everybody else. And it can be a very small thing, but it's like you're the best at it. And that's how you make your company.
Gotcha. Yeah, appreciate that.
Right, we're winding down. Does anybody have any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, focus. You've got time. And data scientists, just as a market scale for salaries, are really expensive. So, your fundraising budget is really low. It's like when people tell me they're going to build an app for $8,000. Just think more broadly about really the numbers and really drilling down to what you need in order to focus.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Adonis. Another virtual